Hey, friends. Hey, welcome back to another week of Bible stories. And I don't know if you know it or not, but it's a special week. It's Holy Week. It's a week that ends with a great celebration, which is Easter, where we celebrate Jesus and his resurrection. And we'll talk about what that means a little bit later on in the week. But for this week, I want to skip ahead in our story a little bit, if that's okay with you. I want to skip ahead to talk about that last week that Jesus had with his disciples before he went to the cross and afterwards, too. So we're going to skip ahead to a story called The Servant King. It's on page 286 in the Jesus Storybook Bible, and it's awesome. So let's read together. This is from Mark 14 and also from John chapter 13 and 14. And it says, "It was Passover, the time God's people remembered how God had rescued them from being slaves in Egypt. Every year they killed a lamb and ate it. The lamb died instead of us, they would say. But this Passover, God was getting ready for an even greater rescue. Jesus and his friends were having the Passover meal together in an upstairs room. But Jesus' friends were arguing. What about? Well, they were arguing about stinky feet. Ew. Stinky feet? Yeah, that's right. Stinky feet. See, the thing about feet back then was that people didn't wear shoes. They only wore sandals, which might not sound unusual except that the streets in those days were dirty. And I don't mean just dusty dirty. I mean really stinky dirty. With all those cows and horses everywhere, you can imagine the stuff on the street that ended up on their feet. So anyway, someone had to wash away the dirt, but it was a dreadful job. Who on earth would ever dream of volunteering to do it? Only the lowliest servant. You can kind of see how yucky that is up there. And then servant down there saying, P.U., I don't want to wash any feet. I'm not the servant, Peter said. Nor am I, said Matthew. Quietly, Jesus got up from the table, took off his robe, picked up a basin of water, knelt down, and started to wash his friend's feet. You can't, Peter said. He didn't understand about Jesus being the servant king. If you don't let me wash away the dirt, Peter, Jesus said, well, you can't be close to me. Jesus knew that what people needed most was to be clean on the inside. All the dirt on their feet was nothing compared to the sin inside their hearts. Then wash me, Lord, Peter said, tears filling his eyes, all of me. One by one, Jesus washed everyone's feet. I'm doing this because I love you, Jesus explained. Do this for each other. See, there's Jesus. And he did what nobody else wanted to do. Wow. Now, one of Jesus' friends had made a bad plan. No one else knew what the bad plan was, but Jesus knew. And so did Judas. Judas was going to help the leaders capture Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. Go on, Judas, Jesus said. And Judas got up from the meal, left the room, and walked out into the night. Uh-oh. Judas is going to do something not great. So let's see what happens. Then Jesus picked up some bread and he broke it. He gave it to his friends. He picked up a cup of wine and thanked God for it. He poured it out and shared it. My body is like this bread. It will break, Jesus told them. This cup of wine is like my blood. It will pour out. But this is how God will rescue the whole world. My life will break and God's broken world will mend. My heart will tear apart and all your hearts will heal. Just as my Passover lamb died. Now I will die instead of you. My blood will wash away all of your sins, and you'll be clean on the inside in your heart. So whenever you eat and drink, remember, Jesus said, I've rescued you. Jesus knew it was nearly time for him to leave the world and go back to God. I won't be with you long, he said. You're going to be very sad, but God's helper will come, and then you'll be filled up with a forever happiness that won't ever leave. So don't be afraid. You are my friends, and I love you. So they sang their favorite song and walked up to their favorite place, an Olive Garden. There's Jesus with the bread and the cup. See that? And so what's going to happen? Well, as you see, and as we read the stories each day this week, you're going to see how much Jesus really loves you and me. So stay tuned. Keep checking back here each day for a new Bible story. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, guys.